But you know what was the worst of all? When the Europeans came. Yes, the people who raped the continent of Africa, raped the people of their culture, raped the people of their identity. We have to remember now, as much as we had contact with Greece and Rome, there was no rape of African culture. It was African culture that was being passed on to the Greeks and the Romans to bring what they would call enlightenment. But it's in the 15th century, 14th century, when the Europeans came over to the western side of Africa, these are the people who came with the Son of God. These are the people who came with white racism. These are the people who came to colonize and to plunder and to destroy black civilization. So within that destruction, I and I's identity have been even more splintered. Now we are West Indians. Yes, now we are Black Americans. We're all sort of hyphenated people. But we can return to ourselves by recognizing the identity of our landmass. And the landmass is not Africa. The landmass is Alkebulan. The people are the people of melanin. That is a unity that we need to recognize. And once we look out into the planet, we can see the type of persons who are under the greatest oppression. We see the race of persons who are suffering the most. And we also see where the symbol of white supremacy is always consistent. So it's for I and I to come to grips with self, the black self, and be unafraid to embrace blackness. It is our divine right. Metamorphosis. You have to understand that when you disconnect people from their heritage and from their own story, when you disconnect the people, you sort of have them in a state of limbo, uncertain, oftentimes unaware. So I say within the identity issue, much can be gained if one was to look into the black story. Move beyond Greece. And within this segment called African World Affairs, we'll help the identity move beyond Greece and set up self long before Europe even exists. Overstand Kemetic civilizations. Overstand our creation mythologies of the sky god and the earth god, and free up with meditation. The land is power. Sovereignty within the self is also power. Metamorphosis.
There's a land that I have heard about so far across the sea. There's a land that I have heard about so far across the sea. To have you on my dreamland would be like heaven to me. My dreamland would be like heaven to me. We'll get our breakfast from the tree.
Alkebulan, the continent to which all people now are moving towards, and to which black people are moving away from. Paradoxical. The Chinese are rushing it, Europeans are flocking it for employment, while the greatest African brains go seek menial work in Europe. Same thing happening in the Caribbean, suffering from brain drain. Then some of our best brains go to North America to do menial work. And those from North America come here on their birth certificate and find jobs and be able to make life here on this tropical rock. Something is fundamentally wrong. Why the melanin people are always on the move. Why we can't find no stability and economics in the places of our natural origin. Something is wrong. And we have to explore what are the things that we have been taught, what have washed our brain. And fundamentally, at the basis of much of our struggle is the force of racism. Yes, white racism. Because racism comes from other groups. We also experience Chinese racism. Because on a rock like Jamaica, Chinese deal with the black people almost the same way. The way the white people deal with the black people here. Because the black people carry themselves often as slaves. And are dependent on the symbol of white supremacy for their salvation. That's a sign that you're a slave, you know. Once you show your symbol of white supremacy around your neck, it shows that you're a slave. It's a sign. That's why they call it a cross. Once you walk with a cross around your neck, it shows that you're under the reign and the power of white supremacy. It's a serious thing. The Jesuits are on the march. The Pope has gathered with his 8 cardinals from around the world. The 9 of them will plan a new strategy. Let us prepare ourselves. Let us read more of the philosophy and the opinions of Marcus Messiah Garvey. Let us get into self-reliance. Let us build an empire on this planet. All of those who want to build an empire in heaven, get a ticket on the shuttle and go on. Metamorphosis. The worst theft that one can experience is not theft of your money, nor theft of your land. The worst theft is the theft of your identity. Yeah, think about it. A couple months ago, a man captured my email address and I felt totally helpless. It's like, piece of me gone. Yeah man, piece of me gone, but I couldn't control. Because the man captured a piece of my identity. Now imagine your identity being captured over hundreds of years and being brutally beaten out of you and being reprogrammed, brainwashed as Maconem call it. We have to struggle, and the struggle is to what? Regain consciousness of Alkebulan, regain consciousness of our black skin, regain consciousness of the power of our melanin. Recognize our soul dwells in our skin. Blood of the African, the blood. No RH, no resource monkey factor. Divine, original man.
So I am
Metamorphosis, moving into another segment that we call Africa in World Affairs, our story. So I could probably say now Alkibulan in World Affairs, understanding the proper language for the land of the black. And you know something else? This segment is all about reinforcing our story, because we have been given his story for hundreds of years. Now I want to speak a little bit about a period of time that is not often spoken about. It is documented in many places, encyclopedias and libraries and books of history. But what we recognize that we get the information according to who presents it and to what benefit. Now, we know about Egypt by now. We have been hearing this theme song for months, years. Egypt, the builders of pyramids. We're sometimes under the illusion that the continent is separated by the great desert called the Sahara. Right? They teach us that the Sahara separates Africa into Africa below the Sahara and Africa above. Now this above and below notion, when you look into the language, generally when people talk about things that are above, they tend to want to put it into a quote-unquote better category than things that are below. When you want to talk about progress, people talk about moving up. People don't talk about moving down when they want progress. So the idea of up being positive and better, better than down, is within our framework of learning. So what the Europeans have done now is created this place called Africa above the Sahara. So in this above the Sahara, these people now are not black people from the perspective of the Europeans. They are now white, brown people. They actually want to call them Mediterranean people. So it's an attempt to steal the identity and confuse the identity of the people on the continent. There's also the notion of making the people who are from the north feel superior to the people who are from the south. So this north and south, above and below, black and white framework leads us to sort of figure that I just saw it go. But here it is. Before Greece, I want them kind of penetrate the time that I'm speaking about. Because they give us Greece as the most ancient and the first white civilization. They give us Homer as the first literary man to write. But they don't tell us what happened before Greece. And what happened in the world history before Greece. So we sort of left a leap from Egypt into Greece. That's how the training of the mind works. We move from Egypt into Greece. But I want us to interrupt that flow and stop for a minute and think about a set of islands in a sea called the Aegean Sea. A-E-G-E-A-N. The Aegean Sea. Within these seas, within this sea, there are some islands. One of the most famous islands within this sea is called the island of Crete. C-R-E-T-E. Now these islands are off the mainland of Greece. These islands are not part of the Greek mainland. These islands are not necessarily part of the Alkebulan continent. They are in the Mediterranean Sea. So the Aegean Sea now, they're in the Mediterranean. The Aegean Sea is a site that black people need to begin to examine and explore to recover our culture and our story. Because in the Aegean Sea and within the island of Crete, there developed a civilization called the Minoan civilization. M-I-N-O-A-N. Now while I was a youth going to school and even up to university, I can tell you I knew nothing about Minoan civilization and I knew nothing about Minoan culture. But because your learning really begins after you finish school, that's when you really begin to learn, because you have skills now to go out and read what you want to read and study and search what you want to search for. You see the Minoan civilization? This civilization speaks to a culture of black people who developed architecture, trade, religion, philosophy. The Minoans. Now the Minoans date in their time takes them back 100,000 years before the Christian era. And I want them to take a note at that time. 100,000 years before the Christian era, there was a civilization off the coast of Africa governed by black people. They were called the Minoans. Now, there's a king within the culture that was called King Minos, M-I-N-O-S. And there's philosophy and there are creation theories and stories by the Minoan people. Now, because of this idea of people from the continent being Africans, we would not consider Minoans to be Africans. But you see, if we begin to recognize the people being united by their blackness, then the Minoans definitely, who also traded with the old Egyptian kingdom, were black people. The Minoan architecture, Minoan culture, Minoan civilization, generally, 100,000 years before the Christian era, a civilization that had only female deities. Yeah, they had no male deities within the Minoan culture. All of their deities were goddesses. So we have to recognize that, look, our teaching from the European perspective leaves out much of what is important to us as black people. If you see yourself only as an African, then the experiences of the people of Mesopotamia, of Crete, all of these things become disconnected from you. So what I said to the one them, the whole world in its anciency was first cultured by black people. In Greece, in Rome, all over the planet. Metamorphosis, Size FM.
Economic liberation is a duty I owe to posterity. Great Zimbabwe and ancient rocks are firm. Come now, Jacob down. Great Zimbabwe walls. Great Zimbabwe walls. Great Zimbabwe walls. Great Zimbabwe walls. When they saw Zimbabwe walls, they said it was the foundation. They said it was Syrian. They said it was the Chinese. When they saw Zimbabwe walls, they said it came from the Iberian. We know it is 100% African. Zimbabwe walls. Great Zimbabwe walls. Great Zimbabwe walls. Great Zimbabwe walls. So who your mass protector must be? So who bring and region of the gator be? So who was yours? So Walter Raleigh. So who was Amerigo Vespucci? Some kind of Johnny come lately, talking about them make some kind of discovery. I man is the living anthropology. I man is the living archaeology. Yaga yaga yo. Zimbabwe wall. Real Zimbabwe wall. Zimbabwe wall. Real Zimbabwe wall. Great Zimbabwe wall. Great Zimbabwe wall. When they built up the Aswan Dam, it was the Western archaeologists' plan to flood which is tropical in England. Afraid of the glory of the Nubian, afraid you will see your collection. Yaga yo, to Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe wall. Great Zimbabwe wall. Great Zimbabwe wall. Yeah. Great Zimbabwe was. Great Zimbabwe was. Great Zimbabwe.
So hear the story about King Minos. He was the king of Crete. I have recognized that these people have their own mythologies and own stories. They said Minos was the king of Crete, and he was also the king of many of the Aegean islands. And he had a son. And that not only had a son, King Minos was the son of Zeus. Zeus is the Greek god. He was the son of Zeus and what they call a Phoenician princess called Europa. Some of the writings tell us that the continent Europe was named after this Phoenician princess called Europa. So we cannot fit everybody now under this Christendom ideology, because the world is far more ancient than Christendom. And the dumb people who are into this, followers of Christ, must recognize that the world did not begin with the birth of Jesus of Nazareth. What about the persons living in these civilizations 100,000 years before the Christian era? Black people with their own perceptions of the universe, their own pantheons and deities. They have to respect black culture globally. Yeah, so we'll look into the segment same way, looking into some things that are not really exposed generally, and how do I connect the dots myself. So we'll talk about the Minoan civilization. Black people before Greece even exists. This is a civilization that moved away from those islands and began to occupy the mainland Greece. These black people set up the foundation of Greek society. But the point we're trying to make now is a gap in time that has been removed from us. Because they try to have us think that there was a straight line leap from Egypt into Greek civilization. And the point I'm going to make to the item now is that it's talking about a 100,000 year gap. 100,000 years between Egypt and Greece. Yes, 100,000 years plus. And the experience is there because the architecture, the research has been done, is not a secret. What we have to do is connect the dots ourselves. Minoan civilization, King Minos, the island of Crete, the Aegean Sea, These are places that should be taught to our youths. This should be on the calendar for world history. Instead of telling us about the Battle of Britain and the Saxons versus the Normandy, and before confusing us about, William Tell and all this kind of stuff that goes on from that perspective of the world. So information is there. I have the task of reconnecting and rewriting I's story, filling in the gaps, because there are numerous gaps in time that I just overlook because of negligence and just kind of lazy, or just putting too much confidence in the superior force that is white in its imagery. Before coming on to this section, identity theft is a very, very critical activity, and it has happened to a race. The race has lost its identity. There are individuals within the group who are trying to re-establish race first as a principle. Forces that are driven by white supremacy are arguing that race is a social construct and that everybody belongs to this thing called the human race. I nothing to know human race. I is a member of the black race. And the black race is the original race. The black race is a race of man. Male and female created he them. So, final point about losing identity within this segment. What the Europeans have done is removed the language that would resonate and change the names until the thing changes meaning. Most of us speak about Osiris, Horus, and Isis as the Trinity. And we recognize that it is original in terms of it is not Jesus, Joseph, and Mary. It is far more ancient than the Jesus, Joseph, Mary Trinity story. But we have to recognize now that Horus and Isis and Osiris is also a name change. Because the original name for those forces is really Osar, Oset, and Haru. So you see, every time they switch the language on us, it takes us further away from ourselves. So, yes, Osiris, important figure, because in Egyptian mythology, Osiris is the son of God. In the Egyptian mythology, Osiris was sent by the Sun. Yes, and manifested and had wife and child. But the language was changed by the Greeks and the Romans. So we'll leave it with Osar, A-U-S-A-R. We'll leave it with Oset, A-U-S-E-T. And we'll leave you with Haru. Osiris, Isis, and Horus. The Black Trinity. Metamorphosis, Africa, Alkebulan, our story. Healing up all the people who take in the metamorphosis and take it serious. Heal up Shanti, and heal up Alba Joy, and all the people who went to Lehman College. Akida, Amlak. Heal the Eye. Kasha Black. Man called Vale in the borough of Queens. Peace to the item. Yeah, Rastafari.
Me burn the fire from Babylon. Not take no chat from Babylon. Cause a you corrupt, you get a youth, we don't know wicked act, for no Babylon. When me walk, I trample down Babylon. Talk and ride down Babylon. Who know what is there with your clans and plans? One come trapping the man, who no think, who no can come take Mama Africa from we again. No, who no can come take Mama Africa from we
Reclamation time.
No can come take Mama Africa from we again. No can come take
within identity first, then we capture the land.
Lick yourself and a blame Afghanistan. With
Frankans implement a plan. Then you go dig down Saddam. We see you a draw nearer and nearer. But the Isle mama got now go share ya. Oh, me nah get scared. We defend the square. Oh, Pasha Shamalangale. You no can contact Mama Africa from we again. You no think you no can contact Mama Africa from we again. No, you no can contact Mama Africa from we again. You no think you no can contact Mama Africa from we again. Them no like when we are dinner the hill. Them while we stay have to pay them bills. When you think you are safe, you are safe little cabbage. Them alone account off the mills. It's an authentic reggae beat. Make me skank off these shoes off of my feet. I get 3 Peter touch, 2 Bob Marley, and the little berry sound sweet. You no can contact Mama Africa from we again. You no think you no can contact Mama Africa from we again. No, you no can contact Mama Africa from we again. You no think you no can contact Mama Africa from we again.
Yes, we're saying within the metamorphosis that the continent of Alkebulan is important for reclamation. We understand the language and the linguistics about Africa, but we cite up that the Europeans are now calling themselves Africans. So what should the black people do? Because all of a sudden now anybody can be an African, and therefore anybody can claim the continent. And I say no. No. The continent is the land of the blacks. And when the land of the blacks is being claimed by the black people, then it shall be a different dimension in time and space and power. Of respect power. And if we want to recognize power, we also have to find a way to harmonize it and not be afraid of power. Yeah, so let's tell them now, the identity is a powerful thing. Yeah, because around your identity now, you build your economics. Around your identity, you build up structures that make you sustainable as an individual and as a people. So it's important that we have the right perspective. And that though the world is trying to put the entire race again into a different type of slavery, the resistance will be greater. And the fight begins with knowledge. And no more superstition in the struggle. We need struggle driven by intelligence. Metamorphosis, moving into the deconstruction.
Inspires FM.
Tired of suffering. We're tired of suffering. We are tired and sick and tired of suffering. How much of the suffering is connected to the things we believe? How closely connected are your illnesses to your belief system? They say the mind can cure and the mind can kill. So your belief system is an important part of, let us say, your mind. So what do you believe? What What is the foundation and the source of your beliefs? Well, hear the story now. Now it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful. Let me read it again. Now it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves, of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. And there were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men, who were the old men of renown. This is reading from the good book, from the book of Genesis chapter 6. Do we believe what we read in this book? Because if we do believe, then obviously we must believe that they were sons of God. Sons of God, long before the birth of Jesus of Nazareth. This is what the Bible is telling me, right here in Genesis, that they were sons of God, and that these sons of God had intercourse with the daughters of men. Serious mix-up now. Who are the daughters of men? And who are men relative to the sons of God? These are things that are in the Bible. And nobody explains this thing to us unless you go to Sunday school and then give you a version. So I'm asking the ones and ones out there now, those who believe in this book, particularly those black people who accept the Bible as a foundation of truth. It says in Genesis chapter 6 that when men began to multiply, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, which means the daughters of men are different from the sons of God, and men are not the same as the sons of God. Yeah, that's a serious thing going on in this book of Genesis. So there were giants on the earth. So what happened to the giants today? We understand that there were also giant birds, and that there were giant lizards. So is it that the planet, this planet Earth, is not really what it looks like? No. A lot of people are scared to think for themselves. A lot of people turn over their thinking to this book. But we have been given a brain to think. And so we must be able to think through the book, rather than make the book think for us. So we hear about days when there were sons of God. So how can today I and I now be convinced? And why should we believe into this son of God theory? Obviously God had several sons. Yeah, several sons, long before. What should we believe? What should we believe? Or is it time that we abandon these beliefs and begin to search for knowledge? Think about it.
Alongside Mystical Village. Now blessed is the man that walking on the coast of the garden after the feet of Scarfall. Now stand the ways of sinners. Boys the lights and laugh the land. And live laugh the land that they meditate day and night. I do remember that God they are not so. Now man like soldier alongside Billy Mystic say. Step up Billy Mystic.
If you don't know, lot of things that I know. Babylon taking my division. I know.
He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. But I man black just step out of that shadow. Yeah man, the entire race has been under the shadow of this concept called the Almighty. So perhaps it is this almighty force that's keeping I and I enslaved. Yeah man, because enough things we try to change, but we have not tried to change out ourselves from under that shadow. You know when I say from under the shadow, who I see stand up beside me? I say a Chinaman. And as an Indian man standing beside me, and we were both looking at the people who were now under the shadow of the Almighty. And 99% of those people were black people. Yeah man, the people who are under the shadow of the Almighty are majority black people, poor people. And the people outside the shadow govern the world. So let's say something about the shadow now. So when the Chinaman step under the shadow, he just start talking about Jesus and God too. You can realize that the people under the shadow are locked into that meditation. So the Psalms, very entrapping. Yeah, the characters in the Psalms. We hooked on David, this warrior, and we glorified King David over to the expense of King Akhenaton, the founder of monotheism. We're looking into the identity issues again, because within the religious thinking, your religious identity now, people are told, must be more important than even your racial identity. You're born with your racial identity and you're born with your gender. The religious identity is imposed. And in the Jesuits now, which is the army for Jesus, this is the army founded by Loyola, Ignatius of Loyola, a Spanish soldier who organized an army to go around to prosecute and to impose upon people the concept of the Son of God. So the Jesuits were formed as a war machine, bringing to African people now war. And the war is a war of ideology. They bring the cross, they bring the Bible, they bring the guns, and they bring the image of the Son of God. And from that day till this time, I have been confused within religious identities. Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal, Church of God, Jehovah's Witness, Anglican, you name it, they got it. Amy Zion, all sorts of denominations. All of these being governed ultimately by the symbol of white supremacy. Because at the head of all of these denominations is Jesus of Nazareth. It is time to continue to re-examine this identity. Right across the African continent, Muslim versus Christian, religious identity, both of them speak to one God. Both of them speak to white supremacy. We have to wake up.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right.
Hail up Makonnen. Safari hold the Makonnen. Hail the man Osa Border over there in St. Catherine. Yes. And all the people in Abbeville. And all the people on Titchfield Hill. And Town Talk. And in St. Mary. And in Morant Bay, St. Thomas. St. Elizabeth. Enough people listening now to Stars FM. The people across the North American continent and to the people in the UK. And Vienna, good evening. Hail, Francisca and Rosie.
Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. if you know what life is worth, you will look for yours on earth. And now when you see the light, you stand up for your rights. Yeah, get up, stand up. Yeah, yeah, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up, get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Life is your right. Get up, stand up. We can't give up the fight. Stand up for your rights. Lord, Lord, get up, stand up. Keep us bubbling on. Don't give up the fight. Yeah. We're sick and tired of the ism, kism game. Dine and go to heaven in Jesus' name, Lord. We know and we understand. Almighty God is a living man. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights.
Yes, in order to get up now and stand up and fight for our rights, we have to define what are our basic needs, what our basic rights are. The education system trick us again and give us the rights in reverse. Them fool we and tell we say the three most important things for life is food, clothes, and shelter. And we swallow that. Yeah, literally. To the extent where Jamaica now is a food talk. Everything is a food. Everything is eat a food. Eat a food, eat a food, eat a food, eat a food, eat a food. Now we will remain slaves under white supremacy as long as we hold on to that type of organization in our thinking. Food, clothes, and shelter has been given to us as the three most important basic needs. In order for us to reverse the curse, we have to reverse the order. And the most important thing then towards the liberation, it can't be food and it can't be clothes. It must be the foundation of power, which is land. The most important need is land. And when we begin to have that internalized and sink in our brain and stop walk with the belly in our hand, because everything we are name of food. The belly does not think. The belly is controlled by those who provide food for it. So if you begin to operate out of your belly, you're just being another type of slave. So the order ought to be for the liberation is that the three basic needs are shelter, clothing, and food. Shelter, food, and clothing. But the shelter is first. Once that begins to sink in, we begin to generate a different way of thinking. We begin to think about farming. We begin to think about agriculture because we own land. Now, that sounds a way, but in the reality now, in order to achieve and acquire these things, there must be something that is even more basic in place. That basic thing now is called money. Yeah. Yinum. Donza. Whatever you want to call it. It is what is necessary now. So the question we ask ourselves, is money a need? Is money a need? Until we answer those questions, we are going to be trapped in the teachings of food, clothes, and shelter. Is money a need? What is the difference between a need and a want? We have to can sort out that amongst ourselves. That we begin to put the priority now on the need, knowing that the want can wait. So the need for food is there, but the need for land should override that need for food. And I tell you, ask yourself the question, which would you prefer? To have food and no shelter? Or to have a shelter and no food? Which would you prefer? And which one you think you could sustain yourself longer? And you see, if you think about having the food first, you die from natural elements. You have no place to rest your head. You have no place to sleep. You're raving mad, even though your belly full. The man who pursues the shelter first will find a place to rest his head and to meditate and to organize his movements. And when him leave him shelter, he know exactly where him go to get him food. So we need a settlement in our meditation. We have to begin to pursue land first. I'm talking to all ones and ones, especially to I and I people who are living in North American continent and the UK, where the land that you come from is available for sale, but we are not encouraged to buy it. It is the foreigners who are coming here and buying the land, while we live in apartment buildings and basements. Make we reverse the curse. Make we think about land as a basis of power. Make we think about money now as a need. And once you move money to a need, it begins a conflict with Christendom. Because Christendom tells you that money, or the love of money, is the root of all evil. So how do you secure money and avoid the evil? They tell you that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom. So all the black people now are boring to get into the kingdom, glorifying themselves in their poverty. And I'm saying it's about time we cease and desist them type of thinking there. It's about time we think about our priorities. And if money is a need, how do we acquire money? The same Christian Bible tells you that money is a sound defense. So we have to develop our own philosophy of money. If you ask a youth, a black youth today, what is the purpose of money? And if I ask you, my listeners, individually, to answer to yourself, what is the purpose of money? If you ever end up saying money makes us spend, then you're also part of the enslavement. Because the philosophy behind money is that money was made to invest. The first use of money is not for spending, but for investment. Second use of money is not spending, but for saving. And the third use of money is for spending. So again, we have that back ways. Make a re-examine and come again.
Yes, we're getting stronger, and Babylon gets weaker. Yes, we're stepping up stronger, coming harder, ain't looking back, feeling stronger, ready to launch the attack. Do you remember when we were the cream of the crop? It's no Bible. At the carbon we got, they took us away from Africa with an intention to kill our culture, but through the power of the Most High, our mental capacity is wider. Coming harder, ain't looking back, feeling stronger, ready to launch the attack. Do you remember when we were the cream of the crop? It's full of Bible. At the carbon we got, this is the time to live as his one. Help your brother man from out of the slum, it's no crime. It's blood that we run. To liberate yourself, you have to live in this sun. Coming harder, ain't looking back, feeling stronger, ready to launch the attack. Do you remember when we were the cream of the crop? It's full of Bible. At the carbon we got, emancipate your mind from slavery. I know one day Jah will set us free. Some have been brainwashed, got tricked easily. Forget all their friends and their family. Coming harder, ain't looking back, feeling stronger, ready to launch the attack. Do you remember when we were the cream of the crop? It's full revival. At the carbon we got, they took us away from Africa with an intention to kill our culture, but through the power of the Most High, our mental capacity is wider. Emancipate your mind from slavery. I know one day Jah will set us free. Some have been brainwashed, got tricked easily. Forget all their friends and their family. Coming harder, ain't looking back, feeling stronger, ready to launch the attack. Do you remember when we were the cream of the crop?
Another thing that governs our meditation are what we call cliches. Cliches are things that we use to provide an explanation, oftentimes without even thinking. The cliche that I want the ones I want to look at is the one that says that what will be is to be. Yeah, what will be is to be. You know that's cliche? And you may have said it several times in your lifetime. Something happened, And you say, yeah, alright, what will be is to be. And we accept it for whatever it is. I want to want them stop and slow down and look at that two set of sentences. What will be is to be. And I want you to reverse that. And say to yourself, what they tell us, what is to be will be. That's what they tell us. They say what is to be will be. So whatever happened is that was to be. But I said to that and reverse it a little bit and think about it this way. Say to yourself, what will be is to be. Remember that they give us the opposite. They say what is to be will be. And we have been running with that line for 2,000 years. What is to be will be. And I'm saying to the item now, reverse that idea for a second and think about what will be is to be. And what you're going to find in the two approaches is that when you say what is to be will be, is that you have already acknowledged that it's set already. You are conforming to this idea called predestiny. It's set already. But you see, if you begin to think about what will be is to be, it brings your will into action. And it is you now who are going to will what is to be. I'm saying to the item, enough time our will is turned off. Enough time our will has been paralyzed. Enough time we don't exercise the power of will. Can remember now, Christian philosophy have us saying that we are actually following the will of the Father because thy will be done and our will not be done. And it's about time we shake off that will and begin to impose the I will. The I will is a mighty, mighty statement. Once we begin to say I will, it goes away from I might, it goes away from me I try. You see, when you exercise that I will, yes, you begin to move mental imagery. You begin to create psychological space. The I will. The I will. Mighty, mighty power. Yeah, what's going on? Afrocentric views and news. What's going on is not great news, particularly for the continent of Alkebulan. Much chaos, gunshots, violence. Kenya, Nigeria, Mali, Egypt, Libya. The African black people, the continent is under siege. And when you try to stay from this distance and overstand the causes, at the foundation of all of these conflicts is a religion, is a religious battle. It is the God of Christianity versus the God of Islam. And these are supposed to be the same gods because both groups claim that there is only one God. But that seems to be the trick. Because apparently it's one God who has divided the people into two. Because one set Christians and one set Muslims. Send one so-called begotten son, and next one and send a prophet. And so the war continues, but at the foundation of the war, it's about the resources of the land. It's the land people struggling over. And the forces of Europe are infiltrating Africa, and they are setting off enough tribal war. Yes, they're creating a lot of diversion, a lot of conflict on the continent. We notice that the Europeans have lessened their own conflicts within their own reasonings, and they have now directed their anger and conflict into the mainland, onto the continent. So the black people now are in a total disarray, and of course, the Pope is going to step in and save the world. Yeah, it is the Pope and the Vatican that is going to be called upon to intercede. So when Francis comes around after his conference of 9, he's having a conference with 8 cardinals, 9 men locked up in a room, what them call brainstorming. So you see, when them come out and decide to throw for them storm out upon we better watch it. So these men are planning, and the black people, we are partying. Yeah man, the Pope right now is in conference with his 8 cardinals that him gather from around the world to reform the church, to recapture the stray black people out of the 1.52 billion flock. The Pope is also getting ready to let in the gays into the Catholic Church, because as he has said, who is he to judge? So we see what's going to happen. And the black people must be careful that we don't get lost in this great wave that's going to come over the world. This great wave projected by the Jesuits and the Roman Catholic Church. We are in a difficult situation. It's going to get a little bit worse. But the clarity comes when we begin to see the ultimate power behind all of these as white supremacy. It is racism that is driving all of these forces against the black people. We see in the United States situation, the government is locked down, and really and truly, the people who suffer the most from this lockdown are the people who call the minorities, the people who are at the lower level of the economic order, the people who are usually unemployed. So the democracy now that we hear is the best for all nations. We see at the core of this democracy, it is heartless. There is no concern for the poor. And Obama now is trying to leave a legacy in American history with this thing called Obamacare. It would be in the history of America forever that it was a black president who came and left this great transformation on the states of America. The Ku Klux Klan and the invisible government are not in favor of what Obama is about. And there's an orchestrated campaign to get rid of this man. And I am worried now about his physical safety. A woman drove a car into the barriers of the White House, and they shot the woman, claiming that the security works. They are agitating the population, and they're going to get some little kinky white boy to do something and call himself a hero. We need vigilance. Yeah man, consciousness. But the consciousness must be also driven by racial nature. We need a racial consciousness that will give us a level of unity that is certainly needed in this point in time.
Can't touch the
within this crisis and the struggle now, it is Rastafari who has been showing the way that self-reliance is always the key. Yeah, man, self-reliance and Africa-centeredness is the key to our resurrection. A lot of our brothers and sisters now who are living in North America are being exposed because of the shutdown. Recognizing that they're really living in the place, but they really don't own anything, and ownership is power every time and everywhere. So the majority of the black people who have gone into North America looking for better have recognized that they may have accumulated more material things that surround them, but in reality they are not really the owners of these things. So without ownership, you really have no power. And as the government of America shut down and begin to show that it's really the people who are moneyed that are going to be protected within that democracy. The people who lack money but actually have land in their place of origin must begin to rethink. You might begin to think about recolonizing your own land for your own food security, because on the land you can create and plant your own food. It's a revolution needed in thinking, you know, because this democracy, this giant factory that the world has become, but we have moved away from the plantation to the factory. We're a giant factory, and factory workers, they have turned the slaves. The slaves do not own the means of production. And once the means of production begin to reduce its own output, the slaves become exposed. They said to the item, but to think about land. Land is the basis of power. In North America, in the UK, vast black population, not indigenous to the land, people from the Caribbean and other places. You have to think about your own gates now, you know. You have to think about reconstructing, setting up the land, buying out the land in your country. Yeah, man, it's a real struggle. And it's being shown globally that the people who control the land control the resources. Land, water, oil, sunshine, resources, power.
Unkind through material gain, their eyes go blind. Why do some children turn to crime? Me say the crack and cocaine ain't no nursery rhyme, just the wonders inside. I don't sign of the time. I just the one is inside. Sign of the time. Having eyes and still they're blind. Oh, what the wonders inside. Oh, why do men hurt the children up to die? So many soldiers went to war and got blown away. Heads of government, this is a serious time. They wanna destroy the earth, killing all mankind. I just wonder inside.
We are in some very serious times. The people who we put into these offices called governance. The people often put people there to what you call take care of their business, but the people end up taking care of their own business. So government globally seem to have lost touch with their real responsibilities, and they become almost like a world unto themselves. But here we have in the United States now, we have a president now who is trying to push through what he call affordable care. The Affordable Care Act. Very, what you call humane, affordable care. And it has caused a total resistance from the powers that run the United States. it shows me now that the American democracy has no interest whatsoever in caring for people who are not wealthy. Because the system tells you in capitalism, there's every dog for themselves and God for them all. So there's no mercy, there's no humanity, there's no feelings. One leader in this country coined a phrase that it takes cash to care. And the whole Jamaica population jump on that. Looking at the American scenario, the care that Obama is trying to exact out of the system is not an issue about money necessarily. So in other words, I'm saying to the item, care does not begin with cash. Care begins with a deep concern, a genuine interest and feeling and respect. Yeah, that's where care comes from. So obviously, the United States and this great democracy only speaks about care and those type of issues when they are about to achieve something, when they're about to make an exchange, when they're about to swap some form of goods and material for something that is worthy from their perspective. So it's a critical time telling the item, not just in North America, but right here on the rock, where we are having transportation issues, we're having education problems, we're having energy problems. And the problem in energy in Jamaica is at the brink of collapse. The public service now has gone in and locked off hundreds of homes and their light, which really means that a lot of these, what you call inner city communities now, are literally in darkness, which sort of breeds and creates an atmosphere for all sorts of activities that you don't want to take place. So it's important that the people pay them light bill, but guess what? What happens when the light bill is out of reach? Even for the very rich who end up also stealing the JPS service. So in the island of Jamaica, we're under an energy crisis. And the JPS seems to be the ultimate power. Even the water, that is life, must pay the JPS. How can that be? The Jamaican dollar continues to slide. 103. Not out. In the abundance of food, the people are hungry because the people have no money. That's serious. Sunshine, the Almighty God in the sky, is who we must turn to for our remedy. The Son of God, dwells in the heavens, and from all things come from the Son of God. So why don't we turn to the Son of God for energy? The ultimate power, the creator, the giver of life. Why turn our backs on the Son of God and depend on Jips? Let us harmonize ourselves and focus on the Son.
Yeah, wicked everybody just a feeling. It will last, yeah, long as you use them system. JPS, yeah, wicked everybody just a feeling. Full time, now we get some solar system. Na 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 na, we are crying. JPS, we are crying. People are crying. Hear this. Prime Minister begs your intervention. Intervention. Things no work. What dear when we are black and strike? We know you love collect enough GCT. Still we are beg you help we get some solar light. JPS, yeah, wicked everybody just a feeling. It will last as long as we use them system. Praises be to the Almighty One. Shall you see where we are going? For our sake I make this plea.
Of course, the text line is burning up, and I thank Sammy to say, you think I am a good teacher. Alright, Sammy, give thanks. That, of course, is Sammy in Central. You know, all the people in Central, Lanza Lawn, people in a baffle, up the corner there, wrong on them up there, so. Alright, alright.
God is worthy, Almighty. Let's all rejoice in songs and praise. El Shaddai.
Yes, Pauline, we're kind of vexed. Yes, I'm so militant, but I'm hungry. How am I hungry? Black people around the globe. Yeah, man, I'm hungry with a H.
In every man stand his plan. All he needs to do is follow the spirit which is legit. That is how we'll all grow. Know him, Elohim. Some men are lovers of themselves. In the stand, only a few will them love as something that they know to be shared with me and you. What a pity, His mercy. Those without vision, got no destiny. El Shaddai, here I am dying like a child.
Of course, I want to hear up all the taxi man them. Yeah, man, Bella and Rumpel and all the man them who move from Town Talk and right to the port and 20 there. All time I come out and man just say, Ross, doctor, where you go? Studio, I say, yeah, man. So come in, man. Couple nights, I step out of the studio, I say, oh, man, I drive fast. I say, where you go? Uptown? I say, yes, I. Hear up all taxi man. It's a very difficult task. Yes, very serious task. And we also need transportation at all kind of hours. So Jamaica couldn't move without the taxi man them. Big up the eye themselves.
Stop lying. Shall you see where we are going? For our sake I make this plea. For the seeds of our sowing, destroy peace and unity. And this showing, it is growing. Peace and love in any language will remain one and the same. Power in the world, no success to the calling of your name. God is worthy, Almighty. Let's all rejoice in songs and praise.
One man say God is really gold, oil and diamond. That's what all the white man is about. Gold, oil and diamond. What you say? The white man knows that we know God. He knows that we know and have high morality. When Leopold of Belgium sent the priests into the Congo, he tell them, don't try and teach African people anything about God and morality. You know, they have it. They have those things. Teach them about the Son of God. Because they don't know nothing about that. That's the alien construct, you know. The Son of God, S-O-N. And that whole way, brother. Because we know about God. But what is the Son? You know, and it's not the S-U-N, you know. It's the S-O-N, this character that was created in Nazareth. Big, big handicap in the mentality of I and I as a people. So we're not afraid of God and goddesses. We had God and goddesses before the Romans and the Greeks came into Africa. What we never had was a Son of God. And the Son of God has come and captured all the black women in meditation. Because the black women know are depending on the Son of God to protect them from his evil conqueror. What a circle. But we are going to get out. Because unlike the dog, we will not continue to chase our tail. Yeah, man, we're going to stop and look and listen.
But any old way, baby, any old way, but not in old fashioned way. Hook, line and sinker, hook back, Spanish amiga, fleet back, jack. Come and stay. But oh no, baby, oh no, as I beg you, not in the old fashioned way. Hook, line and sinker, hook back, Spanish amiga. Hook back on the track as I feed back with a double attack. Second version of old fashion, called the new fashion. Crazy like I tell you.
Rolino, what's coming now? What a beautiful goal from Pele! The way that Maradona has been able to do. And he's helping England again here. This guy's totally dropped. Great goal. Set.
They get away first time. Tyson Gay right alongside Usain Bolt, but here he goes. Streaking away already. It's Bolt all the way. He's looking round at Gay. Watch the clock. It's goal for Bolt. And again. He's done it again. A new world record for Usain Bolt. They say lightning doesn't strike twice. The world belongs to Bolt. Berlin belongs to Bolt. 9.58.
When you take the lead, make sure you can maintain it. Oh God, yes, roll this around. Watch it, I am a sprinter, stay a long distance runner. So why nobody try test me? Sprinter, stay a long distance runner. So nobody try test me. I can lead it, hold on, or come from the middle of the pack, or even make a move from the back. Like a champion, bubbling on the track. I'm giving everything I've got. You make sense, you jump up on. If you can't hold on, up man coming from the back and then kicking up a storm. Looking over your shoulders, the crowd is on the heel. You're running out of stamina, it starts to reveal. You shouldn't test the champion, now you eat it dirt.
Sports and the Metamorphosis. Well, our world-class sprinters are all now in the drug court. The majority of them facing all sort of accusations and attempts to clear themselves from not being willfully guilty. Yes, it's a serious thing, an indictment on our track fraternity. For years we have been considered to be very clean and the best country in the world for sprinting. Now all of a sudden, all of our top-of-the-line athletes are being pulled in front of the drug courts. And we're beginning to realize that this international business of athletics is no baby business. It's a high level of research and scientific approach to athletics, and our athletes must become high-level scientists themselves. Not just the athletes, but the managers and the people who are put in charge of these persons have to be at the highest level of ethics. Because though we're talking about great sums of money, there is a certain level of professionalism and a certain level of honesty that is oftentimes required. And you may feel as though you're breaking the law, and in breaking the law nobody noticing you. But if you break the law and you're not noticed, you tend to want to break it again, thinking that it is your own smartness, until of course you get caught. So the legal system tells you that you're innocent until proven guilty. Unfortunately, it don't really work in Jamaica, because enough time we have enough people right now locked up in the system who have not been proven guilty, but they have been held anyway, which means their innocence has been taken away and they have been assumed guilty. Part of the problem in the local system here, and people don't trust the court system here. But Veronica Campbell-Brown, we understand that her case came up and the Jamaica people have made a decision, and her management team has made a response, and I guess this will continue a little bit longer. Of course, the man himself, Hussein, has been able to keep himself free from all of this sort of distraction, and hopefully the man will continue to do what he's doing, which is to be the ambassador and eventually become a representation of black people's aspiration, not only in the entertainment world, but in the world of economics and politics. Yeah, we're going to move into the issues I know about the bigger ball, because it is serious. Well, do we have a Reggae Boys program or do we not have a Reggae Boys program? What is the state of the Reggae Boys? We hear them advertising a game to be played against Honduras sometime, I think, October 11th. But I get a very strange feeling that there is a game to be played with the United States even before that. There should be a game that should be played in Kansas City, and somehow it is being overlooked to promote the final home game. That's a very dangerous way of preparing. And as I tell my players from the last 30-40 years, if you fail to prepare, then prepare to fail. Well, I see no preparation going on by the Reggae Boys, and I see that the Americans are desperate for food. They need a team that they can chew up to put them in their supremacist mode that they so much love. The coach, Jurgen Klinsmann, needs to show that the Americans can be consistent. And I'm speaking about this match in a very serious way, because it's really one German versus the next German. It's Klinsmann versus Schaefer. And I think Klinsmann will want to put it on him. So we in Jamaica are very careful. Very, very careful. One time we went to America, we get 5 under Jeffrey Maxwell. This score is that impossible for the score to be repeated. I can't call a score because I don't have them predictive powers. But I understand the organization of football, and I understand a little bit about psychology. And the Americans are gunning for 2 straight victories to finalize their spot at the World Cup. The Jamaicans are hoping and praying. Of course, we are so biblical that the prayers will work, obviously. And the Americans will simply lose to us. And then, of course, the Hondurans will lose to us. And the Mexicans will do what they have to do to help us, and we will go through. Just like that. I doubt all of that. I'm not a man of that type of prayer. There's also the issue about leadership, where the president has thrown out a challenge to those who want to contend him. The JFF president, I don't think, should be in office for life. We don't need nobody in Jamaica to hold no office for life. Yes, the island is here, it will always be here. People come and go within institutions. We need no leader for life. What we need to do in the society is begin to train our people to be more organized in leadership, in that they have succession planning. Very often in Jamaica, nobody plans another successor because everybody wants to be the man on top. But when that person falls, the entire system collapses. We have to move away from this one done notion. Yes, this one done concept. And begin to think about the collective, the African Black Alkebulan way. I want to wrap up this section now talking about Jermaine Hugh. Jermaine Hugh is the island's best midfield player, has been the best midfield player for years. A superior midfield player over many linkmen who have played, including those who played in the 98 team. Jermaine Hugh should have been in the 98 squad. But the same forces that fight Jermaine Hugh from that time are still here. And Jermaine Hugh now has been banned for 9 months because of drugs that were found in his system, drugs that were administered by the medical doctor, who just so happens now to be a Rasta man. And with one swipe, the Rasta doctor and the player have been swept off the map. The doctor was been given 4 years, and the player has been banned for 9 months. The doctor asked FIFA to ban him and to free the player, since it was he who made the injection into the player. FIFA says no. And there's no great outcry for justice for Jermaine Hugh. Obviously, if he was a variant of Campbell Brown, or if he was a great athlete, maybe his status would give him a different type of support. It's very, very unfortunate that the Federation has not come out in the defense of Jermaine Hugh. They have left it to the Harborview Club, who don't really have the resources. This is a national player. But there's a ism going on. Because I think quietly, they don't care what happened to Jermaine Hugh. In the same way they didn't care about Tuffy Anderson. Our football is not about the Federation. The football is about the people, the grassroots, the players who sweat and get the kicks and the knocks. Not about those who come to the game in jacket and tie and point fingers about who should play and who should come out. This needs an investigation. I'm saying we need a commissioner of inquiry into the Reggae Boys program 2014. Yeah, we need a complete investigation into this fiasco, and people who are guilty should be court-martialed because the mission has not succeeded. Metamorphosis, Size FM.
Music happens to be the full of love.
Prince Jasbo just passed away. Hear them two shatter.
Musical dog. Grab it, you know. People, baby. Baby, you know, won't be maybe. So keep on coming down by my side, you know, to be my future guy, to get the legal self-identify, you'll make it if you try. What it? People, baby. You know what really won't go maybe. You know what keep you on the scene, just to be no drop my jeans, so you dig me real clean, then you see what I mean. Rock it, you rock it and you rub it and you love it and love it, you love it and you rub it and you scrub it. Do it, John. Shaka that. Hold that. Sounds exclusively.
Hearing all the people in Chepso. Yeah, Hail Up D, glad that I is a part of the Metamorphosis. And you know, the virgin from that same district who always link I through the texts. Yes, you can text me at 453-1444. Text lines are alive and well.
Hey boy. No, it's true. Watch it. 1 and 1 make 2, it's true. So baby, come on, let us boogaloo with you. Dancing true as I would do it over to you. My love is really.
Hail all the people in Shatover. I just love that name, they know Shatover. Let me go by it fast. And Lance tell me say you can stay in Shatover and look right in the Cuba. Right now, Fidel Castro house. No, I'm here put on the party.
Baby.
When you rock it and you talk it and you rub it.
I'll get on my knees and pray.
Rub it and scrub it and make it up and put it in your pocket, you know. Shaka that. And when you let
Man say God is an acronym for gold, oil and diamond. So the white man see God. But at the same time, you know, and the American dollar, it does say, in God we trust. So we understand what God means to the Caucasian. Yeah.
Your Lego that, your Lego that, all this.
And money is power, you know. So God is a sign of power. He's the Son of God that come and cripple away. And the Son of God now come take away power. And have the whole world lean up under one cross. Pure crosses.
Let you cry because I could never tell you no lie. I really don't know why. Calling our dancers, let's put on our dance.
More Prince Jazzbo giving praises to the life of Jazzbo. Yes.
Songs let you come down and swing. I will buy your wedding ring. So baby, come on down and let's do your own thing. If that's to put you on the back, I take a shot to show to hit the back, you know. While I must get that girl from a lollipop, but take a shot, she's coming back up on the truck, cause I would say Skylarking, give it to me. Shooby dooby dooby, I love you. Because I want you just to be my little girl to win you on the world. True love will never die. Baby, don't you ever make me cry, don't know why. Tears falling from your eyes, and rain coming down from the sky. You lift it up, you keep on walking through the door some more. You keep on jumping through the door for sure.
Metamorphosis.
I would say, and let us do the little walk.
I'm on block.
The little talking, crop walking. A crop talking, live it up. Sound to shift you on the back, you go up high. Up in the sky, my baby, I could never tell you no lie. Tears falling from your eyes, rain falling from the sky. Live it up, shift it up, I dig it up, I rub it up, I dig it up, I shake it up, I dig it up, I ring it up. One time, I move it up, I'm coming down the line. Girl, you keep on coming down the line, and why the waistline? I beg you, rock it up and down.
Great Prince Jazzbo just sort of expired in terms of time. Yes, but we're paying a small homage to the man Jazzbo.
This a sound keep you rocking and swing. This a sound keep you rocking and swing. Say this a sound let the children sing. Say this a sound let the toy bells ring. Me say no trouble not to get something. Me say no trouble not to get something. Me say me dolly up a constant spring. We go check out me Indian thing. Me say she buy me a diamond ring. Me say me gone up a red girl ring. Ding-a-ling-a-ling dong ding. Ding-a-ling-a-ling dong ding.
As some man used to groove in the 70s, you know. Yeah, so we have to deal with it, man. Yeah, man, rock city, rubber dub style.
Time to blow up the mind. Me say no trouble not to get something. Cause it's that thing I make the doorbells ring. Too then you see me with me Indian king. Me say she have up a car right king. Me say she have one hand like Finn. And then she buy me a diamond ring. Me say me carry her a constant spring. Girl, so no trouble not to get something. No trouble not to get something. No trouble not to get something. Me say Lego, Lego, Lego that.
Yeah, well, Lego that section, you know. We're moving to our own skin. Yeah. Skin deep. Skin deep. Skin deep on the Metamorphosis.
Got me
section of the program is called Skin Deep. Oftentimes in my traveling through the streets, people sort of ask me to engage in this segment a little more, more often. Because the thing about this section is that it goes into the being, of the black person, because we try to penetrate the organ that's called the skin. And that's what protects and surrounds the black being, protected by the skin. And that skin really houses what we're going to call the soul of man. It is the seat of his emotions. Yeah, it's a home of emotional memories. So we'll talk about our black skin. It's a way to interact with our inner self. Yes, we hear about the brain and the spinal column, and we hear about the central nervous system. But there's a system that is called peripheral. There's a peripheral nervous system, and peripheral simply means outer. The outer system, an edge, it's on the outside. This peripheral nervous system exists really only in the people with melanin. Yes, only with the people with melanin, because melanin now is what houses the pigment cells. These cells were discovered by an Italian called Malpighi. And so they call the cells the pigment cells. These are the cells within the black skin that is able to hold solar energy. Yeah, energy. We're able to store ultraviolet rays, we can store gamma rays, we can store all levels of solar energy in our skin cell. So when you dismiss the skin and when you abuse the skin, you are really tampering with a fundamental nervous system. So we have to recognize how we are constructed. Yes, we have a brain and we have a spine. There's a nervous system that connects the brain and the spine, but within the black people, we have an extra special nervous system that is governed by the skin. Not only is the nervous system the largest system in the body, but the nervous system is also heavily structured with hairs. And so the hair become a part of the system to collect information. The hair becomes a part, it's almost like antennas spread out across the skin. Millions of antennas able to pick up all sorts of vibrations. Of course, the centerpiece for the hair is the head. And this now is a crown where the antennas come together and really give you that powerful station. There are states of consciousness that we need to speak to. It's not just about being awake or being asleep. Those are the two fundamental states of consciousness. But there's consciousness at the level of the skin. There's consciousness at the level of feeling. Now we have two different types of feelings. We can feel physical feeling, meaning pressure, cold, heat. Those are physical feelings. We feel through that top layer of the skin to experience those sensations. In other words, we have two layers of skin. We have an epidermis, which is the top, and we have the dermis, which is the bottom layer. In the bottom layer, we experience sensations of temperature, feeling, heat and cold, touch at the physical level, in the dermis. But for the black people who are gifted with an epidermis that has a melanin in it, that level of the skin responds to feeling that is not tangible, feeling that is emotional, feeling that is psychological. So there are two levels of the skin, and there are two types of feeling. So physical feeling is registered in the dermis, and emotional, psychological feeling is stored in our epidermis skin. This is the level of the skin that gives black people, that protects us, keeps us in connection with the environment. The people who lack melanin lack this capacity. They are not connected to the environment in that way. Different beings. The black man is a feeling being. We feel before we think, because the skin develops before the brain. So we carry emotional feelings. We carry history. We carry culture within the memories of the skin.
Dark brown shade of my skin, only had color to my tears. That splash against my hollow bones, that rocks my soul. Looking back over my past dreams that I once knew, wondering why my dreams never came true. Somebody tell me, what can I do? Something is holding me back. Is that because I'm black?
So the training have us doubt our blackness and the whole notion of being black and the idea of black being a color. I'm challenging that notion here, right here in the Metamorphosis. I am saying that it's the white people who are colored. Yes, it's the Caucasian people, because they're not really white. It is a Caucasian that has color. Because if you slap him, he gets black and blue. When he is ashamed or blush, he gets red. No, isn't that a colored man? You tell me.
Something is holding me back. I'm wondering if it's because I'm black.
No, black as this color concept. We must recognize another word for color is hue. H-U-E. And hues are really vibrations of light. In other words, a color is a vibration of light. And we know hues through the experience of the rainbow. The rainbow is a breaking up of light into these 7 colors. So there are 7 hues that make up the rainbow. And the main rainbow is really generated by light. So within light, there are colors. Nowhere within the light spectrum you see black as a color. What we recognize is that blackness is a state of absorbed energy. It is black that absorbs all light. So all colors are absorbed in blackness. So the black man really is not colored. It is the man who lacks blackness that actually is a colored man. Gets yellow when he's scared. Becomes green with envy. Who is really the colored man? You say black is not a hue. And if black is not a hue, then the hue man is not a black man. The hue man lacks blackness. Check it out.
Confident you're twice defeated in the race of life.
Hueman. Yeah, just drop off the E. It's the same human. Blackness is a state of nature. It's a condition, biologically driven. It's not a color. But they have us thinking that we are colored people. They even call us people of color. I'm saying to the eye, we are people of melanin. Yes, no contradiction. Melanin people, that's what we are.
I really wish they were around. Started out to be like this. My God, Yahweh. We know that you try your best, but we have bigger to the rest. Them grade up the shot at them, now we have a lot of them. Press up, back up, now the grave them a go back at them. Them broke the national bird ring. Sell without claim, me no think we own a damn thing. Jam rock, why we giving in to the trick where them a trick we from the beginning. Parents we need to wake up from the slumber, release with children, blood them is running. It sounds like things are missing our heroes. Sounds like things I really wish they were around. Shouldn't have to be like this.
Yes, Africa has come to the front as the lead this resistance. Not for the man them gone into boogie woogie. Not for the man them seem to be in retreat. We give thanks that the daughter them decide to step up to the plate. We want those who are so-called educated also to come to the front and move away a little bit from the pursuit of material things and think more about the liberation of the race of which you are a member. The women have a lot to do with the redemption of black people. Because the woman is the foundation of the nation. And the more you separate the woman from the man in the black context, the more the race becomes alienated from itself. So we have to burn out the Son of God who comes to replace the black man. Yet the Son of God now has been the imagery that our own black women have turned to. Primarily because of the weakness of our own black man. But you see, when you have the knowledge and understand why the man has been put into that, why the man has been what they call marginalized, what must be the response of the woman? Do you take advantage of the marginalized black man, or do you cite up the role of the system and you come forward now and to defend the race? Because the black race will never unite until the gender come together. Let us not play around with that. You can't have a woman over there so a man over there so. Look into our sessions now. Parties. Pure man from one side of the wall. And pure woman from the other side. A woman a dance with woman. A man a dance with themselves. And then when the woman and man come together, them turn face to back. Hey boy, may I tell you. We need to recover ourselves. Yes, true culture. Original culture. Black culture. Yeah man, Africa chanting down, up front, political, social commentary, the force behind reggae music, no little dibby spin round in a dance. It's about the liberation of black people from all conditions, because slavery is slavery, no matter what shape or form it appears, even it appears as democracy.
Freedom of speech, now that your censorship in my freedom. You want us to be free and dumb, but that now go up to so go wheel and come. Remember that you only will be fooling some. So allow me make me talk to what me want and believe in. Yes, you have a right, me have a right too. So you can't force me to stand up behind you. Two roads before you, them say pick your choice. So I choose to pick the one you with straight and nice. It's my freedom of speech. I tell me say me free, but my dumb me can't speak. What happened to my freedom of speech? It's a breach of democracy to stop me from speech. Yes, it is my freedom of speech.
Obviously, democracy and freedom of speech is for those who are wealthy. The wealthy can say what they feel like and then buy lawyers to protect themselves. But when you are poor and struggling, you must be careful according to them and speak politically correct, or they will take away your food. Remember? But obviously Africa making them know that she don't have to go to foreign. Yes. She's one of the artists who can stay home and say what you want to say and chant down Rome. That we want, you know. We want more artists to stay yard and recognize we can go to Africa and Europe. Yeah, man, but the message must remain the same. Of a chant down Rome. Fire upon Rome. Oh, Paul and them isms and schisms. Francis in name now, no? Yeah. Put a fire upon front now.
I can't do it, no, I can't do it. Sell out my nation. No, no, I can't do it, no, I can't do it. So you know I give me no congratulations. I can't do it, no, I not do it. Sell out my nation. No, no, I can't do it, no, I not do it. So you know I give me no congratulations. Freedom of speech. You will tell me say I'm free, but my tongue I can't speak. What happened to my freedom of speech? It's a breach of democracy to stop me from speech. Yes, it is.
I want to hear of Sister Bev from Antigua. She just sent me a text. Say she understand and feel what I feeling. Yes, give thanks, Bev, and to all the sisters who are part of this resurrection of the black nation. The black women, you know. We have to stop, get freed, you know. Yeah. I know that on the plantation, you know, so much of we dead that we decide to protect you from all before we're born. So enough of our male children have become soft and well protected. And the woman has to take up the front. Now the woman is in the front of the struggle, but you see those of you who have youths, sons, I want to take off the diaper off of the son them, you know. And look at nappy behavior, you know. And get them to become masculine. Yeah, man, let them to behave like males, leaders and protectors, because that we need. We can't depend on the Son of God to protect our women. No, not the SON. It is I and I who must move to that position. Yeah, it's serious.
Speech is the breach of democracy to stop me from speaking. Oh, yeah.
Heal up all the people from Toronto. Heal up all the people in Toronto. Yeah, and all the people in Florida and Cincinnati and Atlanta and New York. Yeah, and the people over in the west coast of North America. Want to heal the people in Australia, what they call down under. And heal up all the ones in the European settings, people in the UK, people right in the Caribbean, people in Africa, Horn, Central, North, South and East. The people of the world, black people of the world, I said to the item, rally around the identity of the self, and the self in its fullness is black. So Rastafari praises the black God. Yes, because I realize that the Son of God doesn't look like I. Yeah, and the Son of God doesn't look like I. The implication that the God doesn't look like I either. So Rastafari come to make it known that the Almighty looks like I. Therefore, the Son, whatever you may project him to be, must also look like I. So His Imperial Majesty, yes, representation of the black God. Enough people afraid of that because them can't get away from the notion of the white slave master and the redemption promised in this kingdom to come. So the black God is there to give black people a concept of the divinity within their own blackness. It's an important step Rastafari has made, because if God is the ultimate power, then the ultimate power must also be a representation of thyself. So His Imperial Majesty continues to carry the banner of the black God. It makes Rome tremble. It makes the Pope tremble, because the Pope insists that he is the vicar of God. So I and I challenging that, and will forever be in resistance to that white supremacist idea. Metamorphosis, Dr. Iman Black, Size FM, Cassidy there. Wole, hail up to CEO and the Jacksons. This is V. We don't see you, but we feel you.
And our praises unto God. Give praise to Rastafari.
Yeah, the Rastafari continues to push for redemption and liberation, reparations. Now the CARICOM governments have taken up the reparation issue seriously. Finally, they have established a committee that will pursue reparations in a very organized and intellectual way. Yeah, we have to hail and give thanks to Rastafari for keeping this issue burning. Reparations. We give the African people reparations, which is repairing the damage. The damage cannot be repaired. 2,000 years of enslavement. But at the level of economics, our institutions need funding. So reparations must be money put into our institutions to upgrade our population that has been almost reduced to nothing. The Germans still pay the Jews reparation. Rastafari has forced Caribbean nations, and we give thanks to the St. Vincent government and the Prime Minister there who is at the front of the reparation struggle. That is one arm of the resistance. The next arm is reparation, is repatriation. And the final arm for our redemption really rests in our ability to control governance right here on this rock. So it's reparations, repatriation, and now we're seeking redemption. We want a break from the taxes. Rastafari needs its own institution. And one institution that is on the horizon is a university. Yeah, Rastafari University is on the horizon. You heard it first on the Metamorphosis.
You know, teach them poor people I get wise. So no ramp with me again. Things that I see, I endorse they get to you, them make them well bright. Jamaica shall rise.
People can't take the word Selassie, you know. Yeah, man, it frighten people. If it's a Jesus, it's alright. But when it's a Selassie, it's disturbing. Why? Selassie is a black man. Selassie is an African. And of course, how can an African be divine? When they better wake up. The ancient kings of Africa all came out of a divine meditation. We are a divine race of people. We have lost our way, but we can recover ourselves.
Jerusalem shall rise. You know, teach the judge of people I get wise. Wow. Give thanks and praise to the Most High.
This brother roll like green train. Oh yes, we are golden. We are golden.
Metamorphosis, Dr. Iman Black, your host. It has been great. It has been another session of reasoning, interrogating, challenging, opening up the pineal gland that the eye can see through the mythologies and acknowledge the ones that are liberating and to dismiss the ones that are enslaving. Peace and prosperity unto the eye, and the eye, and the eye, and the eye.